So I think it's safe to say that the Battlefield 6 open beta was a massive success. We had 5 million players total across PC, PlayStation, and of course Xbox. We had 500,000 players online on Steam at one time. It's looking good, but does this translate into a good game on release on October 10th? Let's talk about it. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm Fun Guy. I make Battlefield videos on YouTube. I have played over 50 hours in the beta. Probably not the most, but it's enough to give an opinion, and that's what this video is about. My honest opinion on how good this beta was, and therefore how good the full game's going to be. So let's get straight into it then. Movement. So I think the movement speed was actually really good. Some people were saying it was too fast, some too slow. I personally found it to be somewhere between Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, and that for me is perfect. You might disagree, but I loved it. The mechanics are nice. I like the roll from Battlefield 5, really like that. And one criticism I'd have of it is that I'm still getting stuck on some small obstacles. You know, those shin-high pebbles you tend to get stuck on. So they could definitely make that better. So I'm going to give movement 4 out of 5. Next up, of course, it's gunplay. Overall, gunplay had a really good feel. The weapons definitely felt real. You know, they're not laser beaming people. I really love the mounting, where you can mount the gun on the corner of walls and door frames and things of that nature. That's a nice little feature that definitely we need to see these days. The weapons themselves, very nicely balanced. Mostly, that shotgun needs to be toned down just a little bit. Some weapons also feel a bit too weak. Sniping. Now, you know I'm a Battlefield 1 guy. Sniping, amazing. Love the sweet spot mechanic. I like the little thing they did with the scope glint. It shows you whether they're within their sweet spot range. Absolutely love that. I'm going to give gunplay a 4.5 out of 5. The classes and the balancing of them is one of the most controversial things in recent years with Battlefield. Obviously in this game they're going to try and return it to normal, but as you know, they've kept the weapons open. They did have in the beta the closed weapons, but honestly I don't think many people were playing that mode too much, and when I was playing with the open weapons I didn't really notice many players using weapons outside of their class, in all honesty, so I don't feel like having it open really made that much of a difference. That being said, I think the classes were good overall. Assault still a little bit too strong though, so maybe a little bit of tweaking and we'll get that right. Overall, classes, I'm giving them a 3.5, simply because of the controversy, really. And speaking of controversy, the maps. I don't know what people are on. I think people just have got a bit of a hard-on for moaning about Battlefield these days, but there was a lot of moaning that, these maps are all too small. Now, they did say that they were going to do the tight-focused maps for Battlefield 6, so that's what they said they were going to give you. You seemed pretty happy about it at the time. Now you've got it, and whinging has occurred. And it's not even the full game. I mean, Liberation Peak, I thought that was perfectly nicely sized. It's open enough. There's loads of open space in that. What's the problem? I think it's just the fact that there was only one of it in the beta and the other 3 were all kind of quite urbanized maps, and some people don't get on very well with that, but I'm perfectly happy with it. And I thought the level design was very good. There's lots of ways to get in between the different objectives without having to run a million miles. Battlefield 2042. There's also not far too much open space. Battlefield 2042. In fact, if I have any criticism of the maps we've seen so far and in the full game, is that there's not that many of them. There's 9 maps. I think some of them have multiple areas in them, but I'd like to see a few more maps at launch, ideally, so that knocks them down a little bit. 4 out of 5. Now on to destruction. I think they really nailed the destruction in this game. They've definitely brought it back in a big way. Looks amazing. It's very practical. If you remember Battlefield 3 Close Quarters, if you couldn't get to your enemy, you could normally just shoot a little hole in the wall and you'd have a line of sight to them from that. You can do that in this game. You can make new paths, obviously we're used to all that, but it's just nice to see it all come back in such a big way. My only criticism of it is that some of the objects are just a little bit too fragile. Those AC units on the side of the buildings, if you just walk into them, they crumble. So that's one criticism I have, but overall, in terms of destruction, we are back. 4.5 out of 5. Immersion is more difficult to quantify than all the others. It's not something you can list. It's got this, it's got that. It's more of how it feels. And playing the beta, you definitely felt immersed in it. It felt like you're in a real battle. Sometimes in 2042 you just feel like you're running around in an arena, and you don't get that in Battlefield 6. It feels authentic. Now, one thing I will say is, if they can nail the single player campaign on this, that will boost that up even more, because once you've played the single player campaign, you kind of understand the world more, you know the characters that are in it, you know what the conflict's all about. It becomes more real when you're in the game. So I really hope they nail the campaign, but for now I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. And finally, customization. I've left this one till last because we don't really have much to go on at this point, to be honest. In the beta there wasn't really, you couldn't customize your soldier skin. They did have the weapon customization. I'll talk about that briefly. I thought it's nicely laid out with the point system. Would like to see more different attachments. I very much like that you can, for instance, change your light machine gun from a long range bipoded squad support weapon, and if you want you could just change all that round and have it as a run and gun weapon. Of course it's still restricted in its effectiveness because it's not really designed for that, but you can boost it up heavily, and that's what customization is all about after all. So I'm going to give them a score for now of 3.5, but we need to see more. But alas, until October 10th, we're not going to get any more. So let's add up the scores then. They got 28 out of 35 across those 7 categories. That equates to a 4 out of 5 overall. Will this score stay the same once the game comes out? Only time will tell. Obviously let me know what you think, what your score out of 5 would be, and if you like this video, give it a like. And also consider subscribing. I'm going to have plenty more Battlefield 6 videos as time comes out, and you can always tune in to my live streams. I'm playing Battlefield 1 regularly Monday evenings and Saturday afternoons. Come and check me out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.